And today we're here to help.
Oh, that was the other thing. Sorry.
And Maggie's gonna talk about the first step of self-sabotage. Hi, I'm Laksh.
Hi, I'm Maggie.
And welcome back to our channel. Today we're talking about how to be a king or queen and why it's so important. Wouldn't it be nice to walk into a room and as soon as you walk in, it's like a spotlight shining on you naturally, without you trying to seek any validation. People are just magnetized toward you. They gravitate towards you. And I'm sure you've met other people who have done this and you felt their presence as soon as they walked in. Wouldn't it be nice to be one of those people out there that things just come to you, you don't have to follow them? That's why it's so important to learn to become a king and a queen. And today we're going to talk about how to make that happen.
So yeah, being a king and a queen is simply a mindset. So we are not taught this in school, in movies, in real life. Usually our parents aren't even this way. It wasn't taught to them, it's not taught to us. So basically knowing that you're the main character and that, like he was saying, when you walk into a place, you are naturally a light. You are naturally love and light. You naturally lead. You are a light worker, whatever you want to call it. But you have basically a natural pull, a glow, and it comes from inside. But once again, we're not taught this. So how do you have this mindset, right? It first starts with your beliefs. So in order to be a good leader, protector, provider, you have to start from within. Are you doing that for your own self? Are you providing what your body needs, whether it's mentally, physically, in every aspect of your life? Are you being a king or queen internally? Because your inner is a reflection of your outer. So whatever you feel on the inside is reflecting on the outside. So that's why when someone walks into a room, they truly believe on the inside that they are love, they are light, they are a good teacher, they're a provider. And by having these beliefs, having this mindset, you will instantly be a magnet.
And it's just for everybody. You know, this could be a single mom. This could be for a young guy. It could be a teenager. It could be for a grandfather. This is from any walk of life. Someone can choose to be like this. And it's not only just taking care of your family, providing for your community, but it's also being the best that you can be. That's part of this. And it starts with belief, as Maggie was saying. And the first question to ask ourselves is, am I worthy to be a king or queen? And the answer needs to be 100% yes, absolutely. But you know, before I met Maggie, before I learned a lot of these things, I would say no, and I didn't even know why. For me, it was I sought validation from my exterior, not my interior. And this is something I worked on my whole life, but I still, in some small places, look for validation from my exterior to feel like a king. So in certain moments, I could be a king. But was I genuinely a king? No. I was a knight. And when I stopped that and said, my validation comes from me, from Laksh, no one doesn't have to validate me, that's when I truly blossom into being a king. And that's where that magnetism comes from. Because it doesn't matter what you tell me, what you say about me, I know who I am. And nothing will take that away.
Yeah, that's literally what the definition of a king is. So like he was saying, he was a knight, and these are obviously tarot cards. And why I'm bringing these up is because I say this all the time when I tell women, I have a lot of clients, I'm like, I wouldn't even have to tell the story if I was like, oh, I broke up with him because he's a page. You know, it would be so easy. People would be like, oh, okay, yeah, you don't even have to tell me the details. Because literally, there's a page, here's a knight, and here's a king. And Laksh was a knight. He just couldn't figure out, he was saying, what it really took, and he was just looking for the external. So let's start with a page. A page is someone who, and by the way, it has nothing to do with age. Some people die, not some, a lot of people die as a page. They just don't know their self-worth. They don't know what it takes. It's kind of like they're in and out, they're unsure of themselves and others. It's very wishy-washy and energy. It's not solid ground. They're not solid in themselves. It's very flighty, just almost immature. And I hate to say it in a super negative way, but they just don't know their self-worth. And once again, when you don't know your own self-worth, you will never treat others with worthiness or any type of respect. Okay, then a knight, which kind of knows his own self-worth, right? Like it's like he's a step up, but he was probably getting validation from the external. It's like, I feel worthy when I'm alone, maybe in hermit mode, and then I go outside a bar, restaurant, church, it doesn't matter, and someone gives you maybe a nasty comment or digs in an insecurity, and then you don't feel as worthy and you're not sure why. That is the difference between the king and the knight. And then a lot of times in a relationship, because a lot of times tarot has guidance for relationships, it's like when I do card readings for girls, a lot of times their men, their boyfriend, the person they're talking to comes out as these two. And that's why they're questioning it, because they're not treating them with respect, worthiness, all these things that a king should be treating not only their girlfriends, but more importantly themselves. Mm-hmm. It's like you will never get a king unless, for one, you're a queen and they know they're a king internally. Otherwise, good luck. It's just going to be a run around circle. And some people even marry pages and knights. But the problem is that happiness comes internally, mm-hmm. right? So it might be they might be married for 45 years. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it's happy. It doesn't mean that this person's treating with respect and dignity. It comes from within, and a queen will never settle for a knight or page. And you will know instantly once you have validation from internally that, first off, if someone even comes up and gives you a terrible compliment, or I guess the opposite of a compliment, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't shake you. You are solid in yourself. And as a queen, you're not going to step off your throne to even get upset. It's like you do the affirmations yourself and validate yourself. And that's the belief system you have to have, is no matter what, I tell people, have 10 people sit in front of you and tell you the worst things you could possibly hear about yourself, and not be upset about it and validate yourself. That's when you're truly a king or a queen.
True. And you can change from any one of these. You can become from page to a knight, knight to a king, or you can fall backwards. You can go from a king to a knight, knight to a page. So we all have patterns we're used to in our brain. We have certain conditioning. We have certain wires running through our brains. And the wires we use the most are our normal thought patterns. So maybe my wire initially was as a knight, and I was used to conditioned to going that thought pattern. You can change it. It takes how many days to start a habit? 21 days. 21 days, right? So for 21 days, if you can rewire your brain and consciously tell yourself, this is not my thought process.
My belief is now.
It doesn't matter what people say. I know my worthiness internally. And if you do that for 21 days, now it'll become automatic, right? Mm-hmm. And wouldn't it be nice to live for the rest of your life as a king from 21 days of work?
Yep, literally. And I believe that my belief is it can happen in a day. And 21 days is a great way, an awesome way to create a habit. But you know what? Right here and right now, you can instantly, True. In your mind, it's a mindset, go, wait a minute, switch your perspective and go, no, I am a king or a queen. I am going to start validating myself. Once again, have 10 people sit in front of you tell you the worst things and still understand that you are worthy just because you're here, because you're breathing, because you woke up today. That's literally why. You do not have to have enough money. You do not have to have a certain weight. You do not have to have a certain haircut. You are just this because you are whole and complete all on your own. Yeah. You do not need validation from the external. And this has to become a solid belief by repetition, just last week I had to start doing affirmations twice a day again because a little comment was made to me and I'm hang on, wait a second, take a step back. And I've been doing this for over a year. So every once in a while, I almost picture wait a minute, I'm not getting off my throne. Just because someone makes a comment to me and once again, we have to remember people are projecting 95% of the time. So whatever they said about you is actually what they think about themselves.
True. And Maggie just said, you can be a king or queen without money, without prestige, without all of that. A real life example of that is the guy who played Rocky, Stallone, He was broke and he had a script he made for Rocky and he was homeless. He didn't have anything. And he kept going from director to director to director saying, I want to make this movie. And he would get denied at least 60 times, I think. Finally, one director said, I'll make it. But he said, I'm only gonna let you have my movie if I can be the main actor. That's the only way this movie will get done. And he got denied again. He was so broke, he had a dog. He had to sell his dog. He got to the point that he had to sell his lifelong companion. But there came a time after 100 tries where the director said, yes, I'm going to take this movie and I'm going to cast you purely because of your self-belief. And he went and got his dog back. This is a man who did not break, who did not waver, and he made his dream come true purely on his self-belief.
No matter what it took.
And then that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. So he gave himself, that's number 2, which we've kind of been talking about this the whole time, but it's giving yourself the permission. You have to constantly remind yourself, especially if you're just starting, like, no, I'm giving myself permission to be worthy. And by the way, just because you think a negative thoughts are not you. Thoughts are not your identity.
True.
Instantly get back on track. I tell people all the time, start thinking negative, catch yourself, do affirmations. Like, your thoughts are not you. What you are consistent with is you, and what your actions are you.
Yeah.
And so just by being consistent with the more positive things in life and giving yourself that worthiness, that validation, it's giving yourself the permission. And you will just be it. There will be no rhyme or reason. Like, even in 5 years from now, I know for a fact if someone makes a comment, it's not going to waver me at all. Like, I'm going to be knowing my own worth, my own value. And so, we're always on, a leveling up journey.
Yeah.
It's just like, the more you do it, the easier it becomes and the more natural it is. But
it's a habit. Yesterday I met someone in my business who was very successful, and he carried note cards in his pocket full of his affirmations, so he will never waver once. And I just love it. We're surrounded by so many people doing these things, being very successful, and we want you to be one of those too.
Yeah, like Tony Robbins did this, Oprah, like they're people, they would walk into a room and you would totally notice them. Like, you'd want to talk to them, ask them questions, how'd they get there? And it's their belief that got them there. It really is just believing in themselves, not letting, even if it's your own parents, grandparents, of course I respect elders, but like, your belief has to be stronger. Like, they can tell you, no, I don't think that's right for you, but if you believe in it, you can do it. Give yourself the permission. Just be it. So those are the 2 main ways: giving yourself permission, believing yourself. But it starts right now, like having that mindset. Be your own provider, be your own leader. Like, why would you go over to someone else's, I'm using this as an analogy, an example, but like someone else's kingdom when you can build your own? Stop being a follower, right? Like, know your worth. Don't let others validate you. Don't go into other people's kingdoms, movies, whatever you want to call it. Start your own and be that love and light. Treat yourself well, and I promise you, you will be a magnet. You will be a king or queen, and people will want to know how, and they will be drawn to you.
Absolutely, I agree. So we'd love for you to join us today. We want to see your journey.
Comment down below. Let us know if you feel like you already are, or what steps you're going to take to become this.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Until next time.
Like, subscribe, and share. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. I'm just going to start it again.